We're here today with Glenn Coles. He's the General Manager and CIO at Yamaha Motor Company US. And we're here to talk to him a little bit today about digital transformation and what digital means to you. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you, Glenn, to give us a little sense of what your duties are and what you're doing at Yamaha.
Sure. I'm responsible for really all things IT. My role is for US, Canada, and Mexico to provide governance and strategy and delivery of the technologies. Work very closely with our headquarters in Japan. We try to help with global strategy, but we execute locally.
Interesting. So in the context of digital transformation, what are you trying to do from a digital standpoint at Yamaha?
We're really trying to be transformative. We've focused the last, let's call it 10 years, very much on getting our foundation, our core IT systems in place. That really represents ERP and MRP systems. Now we're trying to make that leap. What I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to change the conversation of IT. That means to the executive team, all the business units, lines of business, etc. I'm trying to change that conversation to, okay, our core ERPs are in place. Now we need to do those things that really make us differentiating, really make us stand out from the next power sports company or competitor near and abroad.
Interesting. So what kind of industry factors or company factors drive that sort of need to become more digital?
I think it's all about the customer. I think that for us, our consumers tend to be very passionate about the products, be it a dirt bike, a street bike, a sport boat, wave runner, whatever that is, the outboard engine. They tend to be real enthusiasts. I think that's one of the differentiators of our consumer, at least in the North American context. Globally, we sell a lot of products like scooters that are truly just transportation. They're to get from point A to point B. But here in North America, well, especially US and Canada, the differentiator is the enthusiasm, the passion that these consumers have for the product, because it tends to be more of a lifestyle. You're a fisherman, you're racing motocross, you're doing some water sport. Those things are very passionate lifestyles. So I think if you really look at the digital space, those consumers are what's going to drive our company to change.
Have you found the digital world to offer some new elements that can enhance that experience?
Oh, absolutely, because you get more of a connection to the experience. We're seeing, like in our digital marketing space, we're seeing, if they do things where they're going out and doing a test ride or test drive, there's immediate feedback from the marketplace, and that can build a momentum, not just for that one consumer, but for an area, geographical area, etc. So yeah, I think the two are inherently connected. And so part of this digital experience is everything, you've probably heard the term SMAC, social, mobile, analytical, cloud. And each one of those have many segments underneath it. But that world creates an ecosystem that creates, based on the customer needs, the customer's desires, our company needs to go down that path with them. We can't just be saying we're going to go here and the consumer's going there and be disconnected. The digital world is what helps connect those two and helps us to stay relevant. So, term I use a lot in IT is also totally applicable for what we're talking about here with digital, and that's relevance. The digital world keeps us on that pulse of relevance.
Can you share with us any kind of challenges that you're facing?
Sure. I think with every journey in transformation, you have people that think different ways. I think one of the challenges is making sure that we collectively on the leadership team understand where we can get the best ROI, sometimes it's not a hard ROI, it's a soft ROI, but nonetheless it's perceived ROI for the digital, whatever the venture is in the digital space, and be able to come together, get consensus, and drive towards it. A lot of our business units are doing things more independently because the space that they're in is different than, let's say, the next line of business. Finding that commonality, finding that economy of scale is difficult. So one of the change, I guess maybe it's a cultural change. You know, a lot of people talk about the digital worker, the digital mindset. This is something that's evolving within Yamaha. We've been around Yamaha Motor 60 years. Very good at what we do. We build a great product. We have great product engineering. This is a different take on things. Digital drives us from a different direction on our inputs. Where before we had our own inputs and rider feedback, now we're getting mass feedback.
Yeah.
And it changes those dynamics. So bringing the organization along with that becomes part of the growth.
Part of the digital world, particularly in your space, transportation, you know, enthusiast activities, sensors play a big role.
Of course.
Is that part of the of the experience?
That's part of it. So back to SMAC.
Yeah.
Cloud IoT, which sensors would fall under, is certainly a big direction for us, and something very much. There's many different groups inside of Yamaha that are focused on that. We have a couple different sides to that. You know, every manufacturing company is looking at smart factory, Industry 4.0.
Sure.
That's certainly, again, no secrets. Every manufacturing company is looking at that. On the product side, we have connected vehicle that we're doing projects with, and connected product.
Very cool.
And automotive obviously is strongly leading that space, and that's something that we're focused on also.
Any learnings that you can share with us at this point?
Well, you know, so much of what we're doing is not proprietary from the standpoint of everyone's looking at those things I just mentioned.
Sure.
IoT, smart factory, Industry 4.0, connected product or vehicle, you know, moving to the cloud, the digital transformation with social and analytical. I think from our perspective, it's been about the challenges of finding good talent. We're developing more than we're finding. I think that's a true lesson learned. I think most people would agree with. The other one is making sure that we keep a good solid eye on cybersecurity, because a lot of data that used to be collected within walls is now sitting outside of walls, and we have to make sure, you know, it's incumbent on us, especially with privacy, that cybersecurity is always top of mind.